Hello viewers, I'm Maitli. Today we are going to see 10 CBSE Max Coordinate Geometry Introduction video. This is not just an introduction but also with the formulas, and I'll teach you if question is asked what formula to be used accordingly. So according to the question, what formulas can be used and how to answer the questions. So it is not just an introduction but everything related to coordinate geometry. For 10th standard, this video will be very helpful. If they asked to prove, if they asked to prove for a square, rectangle, parallelogram and rhombus, this is the condition you need to prove. That is, all sides to be equal for a square, and you need to prove diagonals are equal. So all sides equal and also diagonal equal. That means we need to prove using distance formula, because they will give vertices, they will just give the coordinates of all the vertices A, B, C, D. You need to prove that by distance formula that all sides are equal and also diagonals are equal for a square. Remember that you need to prove diagonals are also equal. For a rectangle, same way, opposite sides are equal and diagonals are also equal. For rectangle and square, you need to prove diagonals are equal, because for a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. If you prove that opposite sides are equal, then it will become a parallelogram. A parallelogram is also a rectangle is also a parallelogram. So for that reason, you need to prove that opposite sides are equal for a parallelogram. No need of diagonals are equal. For rhombus, all sides are equal. We need to prove. As I said before, for all this, we need to find the distance. Distance is nothing but the length of the line. So length of the sides. So length of the sides is nothing but the distance from here to here is distance formula. In this cases, if vertices are given, we need to find the distance formula. The next I have given the distance formula. Distance formula is, if A and B are given, the distance formula of AB is equal to root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. It can be x1 minus x2 the whole square also plus y1 minus y2 the whole square also. As it is square, the negative sign will go off, so no need to worry. If it is x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square with the root, you will it is the distance formula. So distance formula is very important for the first exercise and all. You will go with the distance formula. If anything is given, equidistance, the word equidistance is given. It is not the midpoint you need to find, but everyone has a confusion that we can use a midpoint. No, it is not a midpoint. The distance will tell you it is a distance formula. So always for a equidistance, use distance formula, not the midpoint formula. So remember that equidistance, if you see anything related with equidistance in the question, use distance formula. And we have a special formula, that is distance from origin. If it is distance from origin, you can directly use this formula as root of x square plus y square. Otherwise the distance formula will be AB equal to root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. We need to remember that if anything is given with x-axis or y-axis, the question, if it is x-axis, remember the point will be, the coordinate will be x comma 0. X-axis is also called as abscissa. So x-axis or abscissa is given, you need to take the point to be x comma 0. In the x-axis, y will be 0. So for that reason, we are taking x-axis to be x comma 0. Same way, if y-axis or ordinate is given, we need to take the point to be 0 comma y. Here x is 0 and so y will be there. So 0 comma y for y-axis. Remember, x-axis is also called as abscissa and y-axis is also called as ordinate. Now, this is one important question usually they used to ask. Find any vertices of a parallelogram. They will give one vertices of a parallelogram to be x comma y, or they can also ask find x and y of a vertex. One side they will give a number with the x or x with the number, and the other side they may leave number with the y. In this case also we need to use this formula, midpoint of AC is equal to midpoint of BD. If it is a parallelogram taken in order, if any vertices are missing or any variables we need to find x or y, you need to use this formula, midpoint of AC is equal to midpoint of BD, because diagonals bisect each other in a parallelogram. In a square, in a rectangle, in a parallelogram and a rhombus, diagonals bisect each other. So for parallelogram, remember that if anything is missing, any numbers to be found for a parallelogram and all the other vertices are given, then we need to use midpoint of AC is equal to midpoint of BD. Now when it is given that points are collinear, and if they didn't specify any formula to be used, you try to use area equal to 0. If you put area equal to 0, the formula will be the answer will be very easily you can identify. Otherwise we need to use a distance formula for collinear. For distance formula, if we are using a distance formula, two small distance is equal to a big distance. Any two small distance, for example, if one distance is 2, another one is 5, another one is 3, then the big distance will be 5. If you add two small distance and that will be equal to the big distance, means then it is a collinear. Otherwise, for an area, if we are using area formula, just we need to prove area equal to 0, or if they are given it is a collinear, start with area equal to 0. Now this is the general thing we used to do. Now we'll see all the formulas now. Section formula. In a section formula, if ratio, there are two types of ratio, that is internally when the line bisects, when the point bisects the line internally or externally, but not bisects, it cuts the line, it divides the line. If P here, I have given the diagram, if P is here, P x comma y, the point of P is x comma y, divides the line A x1 y1, B x2 y2, internally means inside the line, in the ratio m1 is to m2. m1 is to m2, the ratio means what? The line, it is divided equally, everywhere is equally divided. That means here in the front it is m1, as it is m1 is to m2 means the front part it is m1, the back side it is divided as ratio m2. If they are equal, here in the front it is 1, in the back side it is 2. So the ratio will be 1:2 according to this diagram if they are equally divided. But if for anything, any division, the P can be written as the ratio m1 is to m2. If it is like this, the formula would be, to find P, the formula will be m1 x2. This is opposite. If m1 is taken, x2 will come. Remember in that way, m2 x1, m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. Similarly, m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. Remember that if 1 comes, 2 will come. If 2 comes, 1 will come. So for internally it is plus. And we also have a formula for externally, the ratio formula. That is nothing big difference between these two formula, only the sign. Here it is minus, externally means plus. Similarly, here minus, here plus. So this is the formula for externally. Remember that if it is not given as externally or internally, we need to take internally formula. For externally, they will specify and give you it is an externally. If they don't give anything, if they just give it, divides in the ratio m1 is to m2 or given any ratio, it will be internally. So you will always follow an internally formula. Other and otherwise, if it is given externally, we need to use externally formula. We also have a centroid formula which is not in your book. The centroid is nothing but meeting of all the medians will give you centroid. Medians are nothing but the midpoint, opposite vertices, joining the midpoint of the line and the opposite vertices is the median. Joining of all the median will be your centroid. So if we have a centroid formula of a triangle, the centroid formula will be x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3, comma, y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. So it is a centroid formula. Same way we have a midpoint formula. This we used to use in many of the sums. In midpoint, it is just x1 plus x2 by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 by 2. Here we are adding 2, so 2. Here we are adding 3, so 3. So remember in that way, it will be easy for you to remember. The midpoint is nothing but the line. It will be a midpoint. The middle. That means here it is equally divided. The line will be equally divided if there is a midpoint. And we also have an area formula. It is not the area of a triangle. What we have learned, half into base into height. We don't have a distance. We have a vertices. If vertices is given, we need to find the area of a triangle by using this formula. The formula here is half x1 into y2 minus y3 plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x2 into y1 minus, sorry, not plus, minus y2. Yeah, remember in this way. x1, x2, x3. This is a modulus. So if plus or minus, we need to finish the answer with plus. This is a modulus. Now x1, x2, x3. If 1 comes, 1, 2, 3. If 2 comes, 2, 3, 1. If 3 comes, 3, 1, 2. It will be in a clockwise number. 1, 2, 3. If 2, after 2 it will be 3. So 3, the leftover is 1. If 3, 1, 2. So you can easily remember this formula of area of a triangle. Half into x1 y2 minus y3 plus x2 y3 minus y1 plus x3 y1 minus y2. This is the area of a triangle formula. We'll go with the next set, that is trisection. Trisection means if a line is equally divided thrice, that is here, a line is equally divided by two set of points, then how to find the point P and Q. If A and B are given, A coordinate and the B coordinates are given as x1, y1, x2, y2, we need to find P. As I told before, the ratio, if it is equally divided, we need to see the set of points, set of parts. That is, here it is one part. After this to B, it is two parts. So for B, so for P, it is 1 is to 2. As it is divided with one part, at the back it is two part. We need to take 1 is to 2. So the ratio of P will be 1 is to 2. Now for Q, we can find in the front it is 2 part is to 1 part. So we can take the Q value, the ratio of Q to be 2 is to 1, and that is one easy method to find Q. That is, if we find P by using this ratio, if we found P by using P and B, as we know that in between the P and B is your Q. So Q is the midpoint of P and B. Using P and B value, we can find the midpoint of P and B is Q. So for Q, you can directly go with midpoint of P and B if we found P in the first. So it is very easy. Otherwise, we can also use the ratio formula as 2 is to 1 for the Q. Now, if it is a 4 section, not a 3, if it is divided into, a line is divided into 4 parts, we know that for Q, there are two parts in the front and two at the back, so it is equally divided. That means Q will be the midpoint of A and B. So instead of ratio formula, using midpoint formula, it will be very easy. For midpoint, as I told before, for Q, midpoint of AB will be your Q. And if we found Q first, we know that P lies between A and Q. So if we use midpoint of A and Q, we can easily find P instead of using the ratio. Now tell me, what will be the ratio of P? Before there is 1, backside there are 3 parts. So 1:3 will be the ratio of the P. But without using ratio formula, there is an easy way to find P by finding Q first. So Q is the midpoint of A and B. P is the midpoint of A and Q. While substituting, be careful, not A and B. It is A and Q value. If you substitute as a midpoint, we can find P. Similarly with R, Q and B will be the midpoint of R. To find R, after finding Q, use midpoint formula of Q and B to find R. We also have this question. It is frequently asked in the board paper. So very easy, just adding, just knowing the midpoint. Now in a circle, if diameter is given, if diameter of a circle is given, any vertices, any points is missing, any coordinate is missing, it can be A missing, it can be B missing, or a midpoint missing, you can use midpoint formula, because all radius are equal. As it is a diameter, it will be the midpoint, so the center will be the midpoint. You can use midpoint formula to find the missing one. It can be a middle point, it can be any coordinates of the diameter. So we can easily find this. That's all with the video. Rest, go with the sum. All the best.